Thank you, everybody. Let me get rid of this meeting is being recorded, so it doesn't. That's okay. Thank you. It's great to see you all this afternoon. Really appreciate you spending some time. May is a busy month for all of us, but I really thought it was important that we give folks a sense of things that will be happening over the next few months and also throw in a few accomplishments over the last year. I have been working with an incredible team of people through the President's Leadership Council and really proud of their work. And in many ways, all of our goals reinforce each other, but it's important for us to share that out with you. And then we're trying something new today, as Beth has noted, so we hope it goes smoothly. We'll see. Is that there's no way you can keep track of all of this information at the beginning or the end and then ask questions. So we figured if we stopped in between, to give you a chance to ask any questions you may have about any individual presentation. So without further ado, I'm just going to get started. I have one slide today, and I want to talk from it to give you a sense of what I see the next few months are going to be like, especially over the summer for the president's office. So first and foremost, back in earlier part of this year, as you probably all know, I work with the Board of Trustees to construct a series of goals that they approve and that they then evaluate me on. And so this year's presidential goals were presented to FSA fairly early in September or October. They were approved by the Board of Trustees later on to confirm a lot of that. They added a couple of things, but I just wanted to thank everyone that's worked. These are collective goals for the institution. And at the same time, they're particular areas where I focus on my leadership for the given year. So first and foremost, I'd like to ask that if you've not completed a 360 evaluation for me, that you have until the 15th to do that. And I'm going to encourage you to do so because, number one, it allows you to react to the goals that I started the year with and whether or not we, from your perspective, have accomplished those things or made progress. It also gives me a chance to use your feedback to develop my goals for next year. And at the same time, get a better sense of how we're performing, both myself and my team. Even though we've done a number of individual 360s, it's really important for us to get a sense from you about how the leadership team is working. So appreciate that. And if you haven't taken the time to go in, you've got two options. You can either complete a very abbreviated survey where you get to go in and make your comments, or you can go through the entire process and complete the entire survey. But we do use them. We use them for our evaluation process. We use them for goal setting. And as many of you have been working on goals this year, I just want to share with you that there were 10 presidential goals that started this year. One was really around the strategic plan that I'll be talking about in a moment, but also really around, the second was around Free Community College and the enrollment goals that we have been setting. I want to thank the entire institution for their work along those because we have been right on track, and being right on track really allows us to construct realistic budgets at a time when many, many other institutions are either closing or struggling with hiring people or dealing with enrollment pieces. We are, thanks to a lot of policy changes and a lot of work that's been done here, we're really making great progress as an institution and are still in very good shape, both from an enrollment and a budget perspective. So I don't want to take too much away from anybody else in their presentation, but I want to thank the enrollment area and the entire college for really working very hard to get us to our fall, spring, and then summer enrollment goals, which have been extraordinary. The third goal is really about the facilities master plan and the decarbonization plan, which you will hear a little bit about as we work through this from a number of folks. It has sort of been the North Star for us about how we make any changes at the institution. We want to highlight the activities of how we're trying to upgrade spaces for faculty and students continually, local facilities project, any deferred maintenance that we're doing, any capital projects. They all come out of those two plans. And we want to continue our ongoing efforts to do the kind of work that Allie and Pat and others in terms of partnering with the Department of Capital Asset Management and Maintenance to advocate for additional funding and to really execute a lot of those local plans. So I want to thank everyone for that work because we've achieved a lot of the goals there under that plan. The employee experience opportunity was after the survey was really for HR to develop a plan about how we would all work together to enhance the employee experience. So appreciate you completing that survey, but more importantly, appreciate Jake taking on his new role in HR to really be able to extend a hand in a better fashioned and more complete onboarding process for all our employees. So we're on the road to making consistently a better employee experience, and appreciate you filling out the recent survey about great places to work. I also want to talk about the fact that we have had in goal number 5 a new board of trustees. So their transition has been tantamount to our success, educating them. They have 5-year terms. So I often tell them that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's going to take them a while to understand us. But I'm really happy that we have a very engaged board, a very diverse board, a board that represents both our students, our alum, and the communities that we serve. So we continue to make sure that they have the kind of work that they need to do. And I'll talk about their role in a couple of our future things for the summer in a moment. I want to thank Melissa and her team who've been working hard on the concurrent enrollment accreditation. We have one of the most extraordinary concurrent enrollment programs in the state. Our dual enrollment, our early college work is well recognized. And most importantly, could be a national model. And so we are working with the National Association for Concurrent Enrollment Programs to be able to accredit that program. And so we're going through a lot of quality assurances. Many of you have been involved in conversations. Really appreciate your assistance. And we're getting ready for that submission, which will be during the academic year 26-27. And really want to say thank you to everybody for your assistance in that accreditation process, but we continue to make progress. Goal 7 is really our continuing work around career integrated learning. We had a great professional day. We've got amazing examples from our faculty and staff about what's happening in terms of career integration across the curriculum and what does that look like for our students, and expansion and continued expansion in learn and earn, and opportunities for internships and paid internships, and opportunities for apprenticeship degrees, all of which is great work at the college. It really focuses on the fact that we want to be an institution that's well known for the fact that students can come here and not only get an academic experience, but they're going to get a real world experience in the process that's going to connect their academic learning with what they need to do in their chosen careers. I want to thank Peter and all of the folks who are involved in making sure that we could be prepared for. We have advisory groups and people who have stepped in to assist us to make sure that the artificial intelligence strategic plan is really well thought out, well balanced, has a framework that we got from ATD, and really tells us where we're going with this work over the next 3 years at the institution. And though it may happen more rapidly, we are quickly being known as an institution that is a national frontrunner in the work around artificial intelligence. And I want to say that that goal and the work that we've done on that plan has been achieved for this year as well. I want to thank Ali and all the department chairs and coordinators and department heads and administrators who have been part of the budget process, because it really is all about our economic sustainability for the long haul. We are taking a very careful look at everything that we do to make sure that we continue to implement best practices around this. And we want to make sure that that's aligned with the college's strategic plan. And so I appreciate all the efforts to really ask and to submit requests. Not everybody will get everything that they want out of that budget, but it will be specifically this year an evolving process. And so we've approved some positions. We're going to take a look at enrollment and make a better decision about those a little further along in the budget process. And we're waiting to hear what happens with the state on some of these. So really important for you to be aware that the budget process is, as I've said, an evolving process over the next few months. It's also an evolving process for the state, where we don't anticipate that they will complete their budget process until early fall. Lastly, it's all about advocacy for a lot of our trustees. They know that you across this institution are doing nationally recognized work, that we are a thought leader in the higher education space. People know Middlesex for its innovation and its impact and its inclusion, and we've won awards around a lot of work with this, but continuing to make sure that Middlesex is at the forefront of all of this is part of my goal as a leader here, and I think we've accomplished that for this year as well. So I want to thank you for all of your efforts on my presidential goals, and continue to ask that you would complete the 360 evaluation for me. We have two new vice presidents coming on board. Very exciting for the institution. They'll be joining us in July, but I want you to know the onboarding process has already begun with constant communication with Nicole and Sue. We're hoping to get them connected with the affinity groups that the chief academic officers, the chief student affairs officers that meet in June in retreat so that they get a sense of what's happening statewide in terms of our own priorities, but they get to meet the other chief academic officers and chief student affairs officers across the state. We also will be spending some intense time with them over the summer to get them prepared. In essence, we're also going to be welcoming them at the August 4th Employee Appreciation Barbecue from 12 to 2. And then we're also planning very early in September for a more formal reception on their behalf at the Nesmith House. So look into your emails and even the faculty that are leaving us for their break. Please make sure that you stay connected to the institution so you have a date. We're going to be doing that fairly early in September. These folks will have been with us for a couple of months by the time we get to welcome them, but I want to do that once we have faculty back on board. So somewhere around mid-September, we'll have a reception for them at the Nesmith, and I hope you will join. The strategic plan revisions continue, and you know that's been a process where we've used all of you to really have input from our first professional day and continued input through the Strategic Leadership Council that is working on making sure that we implement that plan, that we close out the old plan, and that the Department of Higher Ed will accept our revisions. That will be given its official stamp of approval by the Board of Trustees at their retreat in June. That will be one of our conversations, and we may be making some additions based on what the board wants to add to that strategic plan, but we are in very good shape for a plan that will very actively take us for the next 3 years to include our priorities around inclusion, innovation, and impact for the institution. So I thank you all for that part in that. And that process will continue so that by the time we return in the fall, one of our early critical conversations will be to talk about some of the progress that's already being made with the new strategic plan that will take us through the next 3 years. There's a couple of things I just want to mention on the state and federal level that I would like you to keep your eyes out for. I don't want to get into a tremendous amount of detail, but you read a lot about what's happening at the federal level and the state level. I want to talk about two areas that I think will have the biggest impact potentially. Number one, on the federal level, the One Big Beautiful Bill, that is the OBBB that has been identified, has been approved, will now actually have some consequences for higher ed institutions. One of them that is particularly of concern is the fact that in this new One Big Beautiful Bill are additional sort of responsibilities around accountability for institutions that receive Pell for its students. And that's certainly a lifeblood for all of the work that we do here. It is the lifeblood for Free Community College. It is the source for Mass Reconnect, but it is also the door that gets open to take care of any financial responsibility for a lot of our students at the federal and state level. And first, that is going to be impacted by direct student loans that some of our students, not a large percentage, actually a very small percentage of our students take out direct student loans, but that will be the first impact. And the new accountability, and this accountability has been around through multiple presidents, George Bush, Barack Obama, Trump from before, Biden, each of these presidents have had their own sort of emphasis and focus on accountability for community colleges and higher ed in general. But in order to receive Pell Grants, what will happen in the future is, especially for direct student loans first, is that students need to make more when they leave the institution, having completed a certificate or associate's degree, than they would if they had just completed high school. And so earnings is an incredible part of this. It's why we spent a lot of time talking about career integrated learning, the first job that our students have, our placement of those students, making sure that we do that as early as possible. And all of that's important because we will be judged by our academic programs that actually have that. Now, we have a lot of transfer programs. We have a lot of boutique programs. We have a lot of programs that have really been designed over time. And we're going to have to take a careful analysis of those programs going forward with these new regulations. We have sent information in to the federal government about our feelings about this. So has the American Association of Community Colleges, that it negatively impacts community college students particularly. So we're hoping that they will heed some of our concerns, and especially if this is going to long-term have impact on Pell. So you're going to hear a lot more next year, and we're going to use the summer months to do a little bit of analysis of where we are with earnings for our students. The state does not have an integrated service that allows us to, through technology, identify those students and their earnings. So there's a lot that has to happen at the state level, but there's a lot more that we can do at our own institution. So that issue on the federal line is really important for you to watch. There'll be a number of others, but that's the one that seems to be keeping me up at night lately in terms of what's happening with one big, beautiful bill. From the state, there is potential for a decrease in the personal state income tax. That's been bandied around out there as people are really being hard hit by a number of issues, from tariffs and increasing prices to what's happening with gas prices. All of this is part of what's impacting families and impacting all of us. And so there have been representatives in the state legislature that have introduced the concept of a reduction from 5% to 4% in the personal state income tax. And that may go to a ballot. That may actually go to a ballot in the fall. And if that happens, right, it's going to sound really great, right? The idea of we could put another $1,000 or $500 in your pocket individually to be able to, because of this decrease in the personal income tax from 5% to 4%. The projection that we've seen out there is it would happen over the course of 3 years. So it will be a small trickle in the way it is presented. 5% to 4% doesn't seem like a lot to any of you. It will be $4 to $6 billion in the state budget. It would be catastrophic in terms of any of the more important services for our students, services for all of you, but most importantly could impact the Success Program, the Free Community College Program, both Mass Educate and Mass Reconnect. And while it will sound really good to the individual person that goes to the ballot box, it will have a lot of negative consequences for higher ed, but also for the state in general and the services that our citizens receive. So these are two areas I'd like you to keep a close watch on. We're going to try and continue to update you as we see progress around that, but those are both areas that would impact our students directly and their funding and their possibilities for the future. So again, I appreciate you keeping a watchful eye on that. And I'm happy at this time to take any open questions about anything that I've presented that people may want more information about.
Chat is now open.
You can also just raise your hand or just yell out. If you raise your hand, that helps. We can get to you quicker if you have a question. And I will take any questions at the end too, if we feel like there's anything that comes up and if I can help answer questions along the way a bit.
Bill, I do not see any real or emoji hands.
Excellent. I appreciate you all again, and thank you for your attention. I guess I'm now going to turn it over to whoever's next, and that would be Matthew, right?
I think I am whoever is next. So I'm going to give some updates from academic affairs. We have a lot that's happening right now as you're all racing to the end of the semester, but there's a lot that will continue to happen in May and over the summertime. So I want to brief you on some of that. I will be quick. So in terms of awards, events, and professional development opportunities, I do want to point out that Karen Oster's program, Theater Partnership for Young Audiences, has been nominated by the college to the League of Innovation for our Innovation of the Year Award. So that is a fantastic partnership that takes an arts program and really puts career at the center of that program. With the collaboration with Merrimack Repertory Theater, students have the opportunity to connect with a real working theater and all the career opportunities that come along with that. And there's been some fantastic synergy between our academic program and their theater. The next one, unfortunately, I just received an email. I'm going to have to strike this one. The library will not be opening the Asian American Studies collection this week. They're going to realign that with a different API event happening later, so that you're going to have to wait on that one to find out when that actually is being launched. But I know they've been working with Kerry on developing that Asian American Studies collection. The Early College Lowell Research Showcase at Lowell High School is something that you absolutely shouldn't miss. I feel like I'm reading the community calendar, but you absolutely should not miss that at Lowell High School. The students who have been engaged in early college at Lowell High School do fantastic work. It's a great opportunity for department chairs or any faculty member or staff member to see the quality of what's coming out of those programs. Absolutely competes with anything our students on campus are doing. That's on May 12th. The SOTL Get Inspired Conference is Tuesday, May 19th. Again, another fantastic premier event. I would encourage you to go and see what's happening with cutting edge pedagogy, to see the work that's been done on decolonizing the curriculum, and to get involved with the SOTL program if you have an opportunity going forward. Also, later on in the summer, while folks are taking vacation, possibly in August, when it's a little too hot to be outside, you may consider trying to be part of the Summer AI Institute that Peter Shea is putting together. Some large national organizations have been doing AI boot camps and summer programs. Peter has taught in some of those programs, and we felt it was more cost effective and could be more customized if Peter were to develop that program specifically in-house. So you'll see advertisements about that coming. In that same vein, Peter is putting together 3 levels of modules for students around AI training. The framework we're working from, which we're taking from ATD, is fundamental literacy, basic understanding, fluency, that's my typo there, so that people are comfortable using the tools, and agility, where they can really be critical about their use of those tools. So we're looking this as developmental, and Peter will be having those modules ready to be delivered through the Blackboard Learning Management System for the fall semester. So pay attention to Newscaster about that. And then finally, in terms of PD opportunities, the Academic Technology and Online Learning Department, Roxanne, Daniela, Carlos will be providing ongoing accessibility workshops for anybody who wants to take advantage of that. That will happen throughout August. The dates will be coming. Next slide, please. So there have been a lot of programs developed this year in alignment with the career needs in our area and our mission as a community college. And so I want to point out that the first cohort from our prison education program will be graduating in August with the entrepreneurship certificate. That is a fantastic program where the Billerica House of Corrections, or Middlesex House of Corrections, is now an official satellite campus of the college. We're reaching an important part of our community who's often left behind. So kudos to the folks behind that program. The new credit robotics program, which grew out of the established non-credit program that came to us through Judy Burke's area, and all the hard work done by people over in corporate community ed, has now yielded this fruit of a credit program that has been now approved by the Department of Higher Ed and NECHI. That program won't launch until fall 27, but I wanted you to be aware of that. The Dental Assisting Apprenticeship Program is beginning in the fall with area dental offices. So you'll see that there are several apprenticeship programs that have been put forward. This is a new model of instruction where the program itself will have an on-the-job component. So people who will be working in positions will be at the same time learning and earning credit. So the Dental Assisting Program, I think, is one of the first ones out the gate, followed quickly behind by surgical technology and anesthesia technology. Those two are still in development. They've been through our board of trustees. They've had a preliminary approval from the Department of Higher Ed, and we will be going for the final approval this summer on the DHE's schedule. And those will be done in collaboration with Lahey and Lowell General Hospitals. Next slide, please. To keep that theme going, the new behavioral health apprenticeship program is going to launch this fall. So you saw all this come through curriculum committee. But again, this is another program that will happen in collaboration with an employer partner. Elliott Community Human Services will be the employer partner, and we'll have folks who are working at Elliott who, while they're earning their behavioral health apprenticeship degree. And then we revised the media production. It was formerly the communication career program, to launch to be better aligned with the video production careers that are happening in the state of Massachusetts. So that will also launch in the fall. In addition, the Community Leadership Certificate, which is a short-term certificate designed at developing leadership within the community and helping our local folks connect with the social problems in our area. That program will launch with financial aid eligibility in the fall term. That program currently provides 5 community-focused paid internships, but unfortunately, the fate of those paid internships is a little bit under discussion as the Department of Higher Ed makes cutbacks. But I know that Jill Keller, who's coordinating that program, is actively looking at grants. This is, again, very aligned with our strategic plan and our efforts in the Community Vibrancy Initiative to try and elevate the community experience in our service area. And then finally, the AI Media and Creative Economy Certificate that went through FSA has been approved by the board. It has been approved by the Department of Higher Ed. It's awaiting financial aid approval, but this was developed in conjunction with MIT, and the students who participate in that program will get their Capstone experience in the MIT Media Lab, which is just an amazing opportunity. So kudos to Jen Bauer, who has worked through one of Peter's initiatives with the MIT Path Project to get that going. Next slide, please. They told me I had 5 minutes. I think I probably blew that on the first slide. There are a lot of projects that are still happening. We have a Bridges to College STEM Pathways grant I wanted to make you aware of. The work is beginning now and will go throughout the summer. We have a small grant from the Department of Higher Ed to reach out to folks who have done non-credit training. We're working in collaboration with, once again, with corporate and community ed to identify those folks who've done non-credit training and then develop recruitment events and help to get them into our credit programs. Also, John Savage is going to continue on his longitudinal study and work going back now, I'm sure, more than a decade, bringing students to Belize in June to continue the coral reef ecology work. And the IDS program that has shown such fantastic success numbers and the outcomes associated with being part of that program, which we'll share at a later date through the IDS program review. They will be offering these accelerated 1-credit orientation experiences all throughout August. The cohort model, where we've tried to put groups of students, identity-based groups of students together, is showing incredible results, and we're hoping to really scale that up. Next slide, please. And more, the librarians were really excited. I know there were some library staff on the Gen Ed committee. The librarians were very excited for the development of the new ISLO on digital information literacy, and they will be available for workshops to help folks to build information and digital literacy into their curricula. That's what they do best, and they love doing it. OSL, in the meantime, continues to reach out to employer partners. They're going to be looking for more work opportunities, including micro internships and class projects to get career integrated learning throughout the curriculum. They are working to improve their process to get those opportunities out to all students and all programs, and they're researching industry trends and changes in skills that are that industry is looking from our graduates, including AI, so they can help to inform the curriculum as we continue to develop our programs. And I have one more and more, because there's always a little bit more in academic affairs. The IR department is working on what they're calling a department pulse dashboard that academic programs can use on demand. So I know that when you do your program review process, you get a whole bunch of information from the IR department that helps you to chart the course for your program and make changes. But this is something that you can use on a more ongoing daily basis. They piloted it with some liberal arts programs, and it's super helpful at seeing how your students are succeeding, what courses are proving to be barriers for students, demographic changes in your programs, success trends that are changing. So that'll be something that programs will have on demand. They're continuing to work on that this summer, and they will also be finalizing the Skillaby reports, which, for those of you who haven't learned about that yet through your department work, Skillaby takes the program and course outcomes in any particular academic program and aligns it with the jobs that are connected to that program. So you can take a look at the Skillaby report and see how well your program's outcomes align with what people are actually asking for in the workforce. So you see there's a lot of work across academic affairs, people rowing in the same direction to keep the programs that we have to be useful and vital in our community. And I appreciate everything everybody's doing across academic affairs. So that is my 5-minute update in about 8 minutes. I think questions.
All right. Feel free to raise your emoji hand or you can drop a message in the chat.
It's quiet out there, Beth.
It is. I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Matthew and I have successfully put everyone to
I
sleep
think we may
in the
have.
first half hour. Um,
And I do not see anything in the chat except Peter Shea chatted before chat was open. Kudos to Jen. I believe this is on the MIT Media AI project.
Okay, well, I still have some provost office hours. My email still works, and I will be around. So as those questions pop up, keep those cards and letters coming.
I love it. I love it. I also want to take the opportunity not only to thank Matthew for all of his work this year, but to know that we're going to have an opportunity to celebrate our folks that are retiring this week. So hopefully you'll all RSVP'd and we'll see you there. I also want to thank our vice chair of our board of trustees, Cheryl Howard, who is on this. Cheryl has always been incredibly inquisitive about the work that we're doing here and incredibly complimentary about the work that the faculty and the staff does. So I'm glad that Cheryl was able to join us this day for a lot of information. So I think we jump on now, if we have no questions, to Noreen. We've even put Noreen to sleep.
Sorry, I needed to unmute. Hi, everyone. I'm going to start with some updates from the enrollment management, new projects and programming for summer 2026. We have an increase in swoop days for new and continuing students. These are on-site registration events, drop-ins, and marketing campaigns. We're also developing a surge and sustain enrollment toolbox and event playbook. These are Helio and Access reports that provide specific messaging for when we have a lull in enrollment. We're also going to be developing a stall day alert plan. This will trigger same week interventions when our enrollment momentum slows down, and it's a direct intervention with Navigate. So once they identify a pattern, the following years, they're able to automate messaging out to students. We're also developing a drop for non-attendance and melt prevention tracker. This will proactively protect registered credits by looking at specific messaging in the CRM, Navigate, and Banner. And lastly, for enrollment management, we're creating a division communications calendar. So we're replacing the ad hoc outreach with an intentional process and aligning the communication with advising and enrollment. Since advising has only been in enrollment for a short period of time, so we want to make sure we're not over communicating the same messages. Next slide, please. Okay, so now we have advising. So we're updating processes of our VA school certifying officials and the processing of our students who receive VA benefits. We're also focusing on implementing new services and programming in the Veterans Resource Center that reflects the needs of our military affiliated students. Through a survey they created, and Josue, who's been in touch with some national and regional VA organizations, they got some great ideas for new programming for this population. We're also opening up new advising services to for our growing 25+ population to better advise these students. And we're updating the academic progress process for Academic Watch by implementing a new video and a e-form for students. And lastly, for advising, we're doing some cross-training of advising staff on the credit for prior learning work, since Rob Kalfas will be officially retiring again. So next, financial aid. So they're testing and verifying Banner 9 upgrades to support the aid distribution. We're also incorporating Workforce Pell into the aid business process. So basically, they will assess the process, redesign, and think about how we can offer aid to students taking non-credit courses. We're also enhancing support services to meet our growing 25+ needs in financial aid as well. They're going to start looking at different hours to support this population, and they're also finalizing plans and programming to enhance FAFSA completion with a financial literacy spin. Something happened to the, okay. Next slide. Yes, there we are. Thank you. Okay, so admissions and placement. So we're refining the swoops events and a swoop into MCC Getting Started program based on student feedback. We're trying wherever we can to get the student voice into the things that we're doing, and this is an example of that as well. And so it's the student feedback and credit accumulation effectiveness. We're also implementing Gecko, a software we currently already own, but we're creating a new module to assist with events to automate event reminders with virtual check-ins and post-event communications. They're also relaunching a live chatbot and related workflows. And then they're creating a process in Banner to improve consistency and accuracy in admissions with record keeping and reporting, including deactivating sunset programs and cleaning up inactive student records, as well as testing Banner, the self-service 9 upgrades, which is taking a lot of time to do that. So we're also creating a communication plan and calendar for dual enrollment students. And feedback that determine what communications are effective and what needs to be continued or refined. So with international recruitment, we are identifying, vetting, and formalizing partnerships with international student recruitment agencies to expand our footprint in Southeast Asia and grow the international student pipeline. Okay, next slide, please. So the registrar in the Student Information Center, we are onboarding a new registrar, Shauna Lynn. I think this is her first week. I'm sure she's here. She'll be learning new ropes as a new registrar this summer. So Course Dog Analytics, we're enhancing our current course demand feedback loop. This massive implementation that will use DegreeWorks real-time data to help inform what courses and how many seats our students need. And again, the Banner South 9 service testing, I think everyone in the enrollment division is helping with this process. This will be a new skin and functionality for the MyMCC Banner side for students, staff, and faculty. And it's going to take weeks of testing from the student, staff, and faculty side. And then the next one, new major and pathway creation for dual enrollment and concurrent enrollment students. They will be recoding students so that their degree audit and pathway will be clearer in DegreeWorks for dual enrollment students. And they're working with HomeShip by Jostens. Using HomeShip diplomas, they will be mailed directly to our students in AY 2027. Students will receive their diplomas much quicker. This will also prevent us from ordering diplomas for students who don't graduate, which they inevitably end up shredding and ordering for a later date. Okay, so IR is working with Lisa Gibson to review what is needed to build and rebuild and recategorize the course ISLOs in our various systems to align with the ISLO revamp that came through FSA this week. And we're also integrating the UML JUMP articulation agreement into DegreeWorks. and building the new robotics program and classes into the various systems and enrollment services. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so now we're on the student success side of the student affairs area. We put together an emergency support fund committee to pilot a centralized process for funding students who have emergency needs. So we want it to be tunneled through one place, and that's being co-led by Leonard and Jeff. And then our ACE folks are exploring some AI tutor tools this summer. They're also launching a college-started toolkit rollout. This is a Google Classroom that's being revamped, and that will have study skills and time management for all students to access as well. Their tutors are also using those resources in their daily work. They're also working on the accessibility focus of their Blackboard organization site for their student leaders, and they're collaborating with college community partners to build Navigate better for the ACE services and how students access those services through Navigate. And for our Success Scholars Program, this year we are hosting the Success Statewide Coordinator Meeting on May 28th. So all of the community college directors and so forth will be coming here to learn about our program, and also we'll be talking about ways we can better serve our students. The Success Program is offering a summer break camp. This is based off the success of their spring break camp that was offered in March. It was also funded by a mini grant. And they are this summer also looking to strengthen their recruitment and retention strategies to grow the fall success student cohort. Next slide, please. Okay, so to our TRIO program, TRIO is going to be onboarding some new TRIO staff. We'll be hiring a new director in TRIO PSA and hiring new staff in the TRIO PSA program. They are also taking students on May 28th to a Google tour of a Cambridge office. This is a career-focused tour. They're going to have a cybersecurity activity and a teachable machine learning activity. So they'll be doing that in May. They also have a transfer trip that they're collaborating with Success and PASA to Salem State in June. They did this last June and it was very successful. Typically we have these trips during the semester, but it worked well in June last year. So they're doing it again. They're also planning some more cultural trips. And then the Office of Student Engagement is working with the IDS program to bring in dual enrollment students, up to 5 sections, I heard, of students from Martha's Vineyard High School are coming for 2 days. They're staying overnight. And then they're also planning some new sports clubs and recreation activities in collaboration with UML. Next slide, please. So the Wellness Resource Center, they are proposing updates to the suicide prevention policy this summer. They're developing a clear student referral flow chart for when students come and use their services. And they're also developing a wellness counseling internship structure and training. The essential needs area, they're implementing Pantry Soft, which is software that will identify what students are taking from the pantry. So it'll be a nice seamless way we can run reports to see what students are coming in for so that we can be more prepared for what their needs are. We're also implementing a partnership with FoodLink, which I am told is a more frozen foods that we would have on campus for students, which I think they really like those grab and go options that we have provided in the past as well. And last but not least, we have SAS. So SAS department is creating an end of the semester survey for students to be implemented in fall 2026 so that they can also get some student input into the services that they are providing. And they're also developing and updating their policies across the board. And that's what I have for today. Questions?
Okay, the chat has been opened. And you can always raise your real hand, but I would prefer the emoji hand because I got 8 screens of you.
While we're waiting, I just want to thank Noreen again, as I do with Matthew, for all of her work over the last year. As you can see, there's a lot of activity going on in the enrollment management and student success area. Noreen, thank you for all that you've done over the course of this year. And I know that you're going to be part of the, as Matthew is, the transition for Nicole. So really excited for all of the exciting projects that you have going on where you're going to enhance things for our students, which that area continues to do all the time. So kudos to the area for all the fine work.
Thank you.
Ed has a question. Ed, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, my camera's not working. There we go. I just want to say thank you as well to Noreen and Matthew. It's been wonderful having you guys in charge and all that jazz. Really, it has. But I do have one quick question since you mentioned cross-training with advising. And we talked about the Alamo colleges back at one of our all-college meetings. I believe it was Professional Development Day, but don't quote me on that. That the keynote speaker had brought it up. I had worked down there, and one of the things that they did for cross-training is they had a week, and I'm not going to say a week is a good idea, but they had a week where the director of advising was given permission by the president of the college at the time, given their hierarchy, to shut down advising for a week during otherwise known as a slow period, like early summer or middle of fall. And basically what they would do is they would invite in every office, including academic chairs, and advising would give a report, accessibility services would give a report, the academic chairs would give a report, and they had a lot of health programs, so that helped a lot. And after that session, I have never felt so well equipped to do my job and to respond to students' questions and not have to refer them out so often. I was wondering, is it possible that anything like that could happen here, where maybe it's not a week, but maybe like a day where we get offices together that work with students and have them report to each other along with chairs from respective programs such as nursing? Thank you for taking my question.
Yeah, and I'm going to reply just because you're asking a question of somebody who's leaving the institution in a leadership role. So first and foremost, I think that event and those kinds of activities have happened here in the past. And I think the other thing that could and should happen often is collaboration between departments and areas for joint staff meetings. Sometimes finding the quiet time in an institution that has 51 weeks of courses going on is going to be hard to do that because there is not necessarily, as anyone would tell you, any slow time. So maybe not taking an exact week out of the entire schedule, but finding some time throughout a semester to be able to do more cross-training on a regular basis is something that we should be considering. And I think it's not only important to bring up with Dr. Harris as she comes on board, but for the staff to be talking about how that might work best. And I think the other thing to think about, which is a really good suggestion, is even if it's just a day, is there a way to build some of that into what could happen for the professional days? So for example, this fall, we really want to talk about the collaboration between academic and student affairs, and Maria will probably be mentioning that a little more in her report. But that might be an ideal time to talk about some areas where we might be able to build in some cross-training in regular professional days, along with setting aside some time for it. It's a great idea. It is very hard to keep abreast of all the changes that are happening in all the areas. We hear from these reports, it's literally going to be impossible for everyone to keep up with everything. And while you can feel informed for a short period of time, the institution and the areas and academic responsibilities and curriculum change so rapidly that it's going to be hard to keep up. But good suggestion, and we have to find a real creative way to accomplish cross-training as a general term that's really not necessarily training, but more information so that you feel equipped as an individual, as you've mentioned, to really talk with students comprehensively. So thanks for that suggestion. It's a good one.
All right, I do not see any other hands raised, and there's nothing that has come through on the chat.
Thank you.
So that means we jump to finance.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Great to be here. If we can just progress to the first slide here. I'm going to just talk to you about three things coming from the finance office. And the first and most obvious is the fiscal 27 budget. It was approved by our Board of Trustees just last Tuesday. I want to first thank you all for working so closely with my finance team. It is a tedious process for everyone, especially those of you with big budgets. So we thank you for being as participatory as you guys are. So really, really want to thank you for that. Phil alluded to a budget earlier. You know, there's a lot happening at the federal and state levels. And so this is most definitely a fluid budget. We build it based on our most recent assumptions. And so this budget was built on 154,000 credits, which is an increase from last year of about 4%. Our total operating revenues are estimated at about 106 million at this point, and our operating expenses at 105.5 million. So it was a tight budget. There were just to kind of give you an overview, we started with a balanced budget, and after we got all of our cost center requests back to us, there was an additional 5.8 million dollars of additional requests. And so we had to relook at the budget, try to make it a bit more conservative, to rebalance it. And then obviously a big piece of that is really looking at a lot of those position requests. And so just to give you a quick lay of the land, there was about 34 positions requested. Some of these were fiscal 26 positions that still haven't been filled. Some of these position requests were us operationalizing positions that used to be paid for on grants, and some of these were just new positions. So, and of the 34 position, we're starting the year bringing about 15 of them on. As Phil said, it's a moving budget. If you did not get a position in this kind of first pass, it doesn't mean it's a no. It just means let's see how the year plays out. And so what you're looking in front of you is just our fiscal year actuals, our fiscal 26 budget, and our fiscal year 27 consolidated budget. And then it just breaks down the different functions of how we spend our money. As you can see, 39% instruction, 12% goes to academic support, 14% goes to student services, 4% are scholarships and fellowships. Public service is just 1%. Operation maintenance plans is about 8%. Institutional support sits at 16%. And our depreciation and amortization is another 6%. So they all fall within the benchmarks that are suggested by NACUBO. And so that is our fiscal year 27 budget. And, I hope I say it enough. And if I don't, I'll do it more. But my department's goal is to work with you all, especially in a year where we don't know how tight of a budget we are. We're always going to try to make stuff work, especially if you see you didn't get all your budget requests. We are here to help and be creative and work together. So I look forward to a very, very, I think it's going to be an active year of budgeting. So on to the next slide, please. I just wanted to also give everyone a high level. There's been a lot of sustainability work being completed and assessed by Christina Kelly. And so some of the things that you may or may not know about are listed on this spreadsheet. So we just brought on, so let me start with, there's an executive order, 594, leading by example, which helps reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. And so this is all the sustainability work is trying to do our part in that. So we have brought on This year, we're buying 3 electric vehicles. Right now, we have 2 on site. One is still coming to us. We have a plan for 3 more vehicles in 27, and then 1 more vehicle in fiscal 28. And with those have come charging stations. The picture you see on the slide is actually a charging station up at the facilities building. The next charging station will be going in the lot behind Cataldo and the Academic Resources Building in Bedford. So stay tuned for that. We started to participate in the state CEI platform, which is it's just a platform that helps puts all of our energy data into basically a tool to identify if there's inefficiencies and where we can kind of reduce energy consumptions, and it helps lower costs. We also have done a net meter and credit analysis, which is we buy solar energy from a solar farm or like an off taker, and we paired with Power Options to do an assessment of proper reallocation to make sure that we're getting our energy, our net metering credits are being used as efficiently as possible. You guys all saw last year or 2 years ago, I don't remember, time flies when you're having fun, the demolition of Building 5. We're repurposing or we're really selling the Springs Road parking lot to back to the state near the VA, and South Academic, obviously, we have taken offline over time. Those are all ways that we've been able to save on energy. And most recently, you've probably seen the transition to the bottleless water systems. We were able to save a lot of people hours in terms of facilities delivering the Poland Spring bottles, and as well as funds in putting those bottleless water systems in. So those are things that have been completed or pretty much, you'll see the completion probably sooner than later. Other things that we're exploring are solar canopies in Bedford. We're looking at building management upgrades. This is enhances energy efficiency and reduces staff time required for system oversight. So we're looking at that. There are transformers on the Lowell campus need replacing, and so if we replace them or when we replace them, it's going to improve our system reliability and reduce energy costs. Building commissioning, it's working with the state, helping us identify operational savings and recommends improvements for energy efficiency. There will be a lighting upgrade project in North Academic, and we're also looking at working with a company to create a 25-year decarbonization roadmap. So lots of work being done there that will chip away at some of our emissions reduction. So awesome work being done there. And then I just have one more slide for you. So over the summer, it is the goal of the finance team to implement a new travel and expense system. It's called Imburse. This might sound familiar to some of you on the call because we did have a trial with some of our colleagues here that do a lot of travel planning. And so this is just a real high level slide, but it's one platform you will be on rather than having to create different POs and go to Banner and go to Concur and then work with the P card and Bank of America. It's one streamlined system, and if you're willing to put an app on your phone when you're using it or you're traveling, a snapshot of a receipt will get directly loaded to this program. So it really will help streamline some of the travel expense reports that we have to do, and the less time in multiple systems. So more to come on that, but it is a planned project this summer to kind of work to get that going and integrated with Banner. So I will pause there. That is what I have for you today, and I will take any questions that anyone might have.
Thank you, Allie. I have a few that have come through. When will supervisors learn if their positions have been approved?
That's a great question. So the budget was approved last week, and my new budget director went on vacation on Wednesday, which she very much deserved. But once she comes back, we will be arranging everybody's budget books to go back to them. And with positions, whether they were approved or kind of on hold. We'll also work with your PLC level member to get that back to you. So I'm going to say in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add that that's the beginning of the process. As many of you know, we will carefully scrutinize job descriptions that come in from PLC members, along with rationale, as we always have. Some of you have already done that, and that's available. But there may be some tweaks that need to be made based on what we've approved and why we've approved it. So best to circle back with your PLC member for clarification. And you'll see that probably by the time that in the next 2 weeks to a month, we should be able to have a better sense of where we are with when we can post some of those positions.
Great, thank you. We also have a question related to water. When will they be picking up the Poland Spring bubblers and empty water jugs?
I don't know, but I can get an answer. I know, I mean, I've seen them come like out of commission, but you are correct that they're still hanging around. I will get an answer for you. I do not know the answer right now. And Christina Kelly's been part of that project. She is also catching some sun right now. So you can tell it's the end of budget season when you get a couple members on vacation.
All right, I do not see any hands raised, and there are no additional questions in the chat.
Yeah, I just want to thank Ali, and I also want to thank Christina, who's really spent a lot of time working on the sustainability and the decarbonation part of what we're trying to do here on both of our campuses. I'm excited about the solar canopies that are going to happen on the Bedford campus. We're trying to time a lot of these projects, as you all well know, so they're not disruptive to college operations. Well, when you're a 51-week year institution, it's hard to do that. So we are going to try and be as sensitive to that as we possibly can and keep in good communication with you about the projects that may have any impacts, so that you have some sense ahead of the game. But as you know, we try and complete, and you'll hear a little bit about this from Pat, we try and complete a lot of the work that might be disruptive over the course of the summer or during breaks. But sometimes we can do that, sometimes we can't. But we'll keep communicating with you about it. But I'm really excited about the fact that even the canopies that we're talking about are going to be, massively subsidized by the federal government. And it's a real opportunity this year to make this happen. And that will be at a point where a good portion, I don't want to say that, Ali, but maybe 75 to 80% of our electricity in Bedford could come from those solar arrays alone. So it's really important work.
Jill, do you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I posted a question in the chat.
Okay. How likely is it that we will hear about remaining full-time position requests before the end of the semester? For instance, if we have requested full-time positions for professors to start in the fall, are we going to be told this month so that there is ample time to form a committee, search, hire, and onboard the person, while giving them ample time to create Blackboard courses in time for September 1st?
Yeah. You go ahead. I'll go ahead and tackle that, Ali. I mean, a lot of what we're going to look at is what happens for fall enrollment and where we are with percentages, Jill. So my guess is that we will not be making decisions about hiring some of those full-time faculty at this particular juncture for the fall, but that we be watching fall enrollment very carefully. And so I think that that's part of where we've left some of those positions in suspension. But we are going to be watching the fill rate of particular sections that you have identified, and that many of these folks may actually be spring hires or delayed based on where we see enrollment going, because I want to make sure that we have a sense of what's happening with fall enrollment before we commit. So we have those positions in the queue, and we will be discussing them, but I have a feeling that, to be completely honest with you, that most of those faculty positions that are not in new academic programming areas will not occur for the fall. That's probably the most direct answer to your question.
Okay, thank you. Then in light of that, I'm no longer going to hold back workloads for possible new fall professors. I should fill those immediately.
That would be probably the smartest thing for you to fill those with adjuncts. And especially we can be in constant communication about what happens for the January semester because we'll need to make a determination about the best timing around those new hires.
Okay, thank you.
Very welcome.
All right, I do not see any other hands raised, and there is nothing else that has come through on my chat.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, Mary Emmerich. I'm excited to share some HR updates of important information and hopefully some good news coming. But the first is that effective July 1st, there'll be an update to all part-time non-unit hourly rates at the college. Please keep this in mind when you're submitting a renewal request form and any new part-time non-unit position requests for fiscal year 27 through interview exchange. Our part-time non-unit positions will be seeing an increase of 2.25%. HR will be sharing the new part-time wage schedule in the upcoming weeks with the new rates. So please be keeping an eye open for that for the July 1st FY 27. Additionally, AFSCME will be seeing a 2% salary increase effective July 2026, and this is in accordance with the AFSCME contract. In additional good news, the DCE unit has ratified the 2024 to 2026 collective bargaining agreement. The HR team is working hard to process the following increases. This includes a 3.5% effective the first full pay period of the spring 2025 and a 2.25% increase effective the first full pay period of fall 2025. These will both be processed for your May 8th paycheck, which is this Friday. So keep your eyes peeled for that. The 2.25% increase, which is effective the first full pay period of the spring 2026 semester, will be processed in your June 5th paycheck. So please be looking for that well-deserved, well-earned increases from the collective bargaining agreement. Next slide, please. As a friendly reminder, our evaluation season is upon us. The upcoming MCCC professional staff deadlines are listed here. They're including the June 30th due date to keep these on your radar, the student advisement logs, the college service activities, and professional staff summary evaluations. All those submissions, the E4, E5, and E8 forms are all due June 30th. And then we see July 31st is the due date for the professional staff position description updates. So more information about these upcoming deadlines will be shared with managers and supervisors via email, but just getting this on everybody's radar. Additionally, our upcoming NUP evaluation deadline, which is both the NUP evaluation and self-reflection form. This covers the time period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th. It is due by July 17th. So NUPs are strongly encouraged to begin reviewing the form and planning to meet to review the evaluation and goals for the upcoming fiscal year. Phil has set a great example for all the PLC members. We already have our evaluation on the calendar. So with good planning, we can accomplish kind of completion of all the evaluations by that deadline. Again, HR will be sending out some information to all our non-unit professionals regarding this process very soon. Next slide, please. During the spring 2025 employee experience survey, a strong college-wide request emerged for peer-to-peer recognition. So in direct response to that feedback, the Office of HR launched the Swoop Salute program. So the Swoop Salute highlights faculty and staff in our HR Happenings newsletter who exemplify innovation, inclusion, and impact. This program was really built from your feedback, so it really is ours to celebrate. So I'd really like nominate a colleague today. We included information in our May newsletter, sharing details on how to submit a nomination. So it's just a fun way to give a hats off acknowledgement to our team members who make a difference in our day-to-day work life. In other good news, the Great Colleges to Work For program, the survey for this Great Colleges to Work For program, this is through the Chronicle of Higher Education. That survey response period has concluded, and I'm very proud to share that MCC received a 44% response rate. This participation level is really tremendous. I want to thank everyone who took the time to share their experiences. In the coming months, we'll receive formal reporting on the feedback provided, and then we'll also learn whether MCC has been named a program winner. So it really provides opportunity for featuring the college in the fall edition of the Chronicle, but also just something to really acknowledge and celebrate at MCC. So we'll be keeping you informed as we receive those reports. Next slide, please. In other news, HR has recently launched a new employee check-in process, and we've begun with our new hire population. These brief meetings give HR a chance to review onboarding experiences, really help our employees share how they're settling into their work area, provide support with resources they may need, and see how they feel about MCC as a whole. While this process is new, it will be expanding to our entire employee population with check-ins conducted for all full-time employees, regardless of where they are at in their life cycle at MCC. So this is really program is really developed, making sure that every employee feels supported, that they feel like they have a voice, that we're listening and hearing their concerns, and opportunities to help really create a connected and productive work environment and really set everyone up for success. And then finally, now in its 42nd year, the Commonwealth's Performance Recognition Program. This is a formal opportunity to recognize a colleague who has gone above and beyond in their role. This is a meaningful way to acknowledge the people around us who make a real difference every day. Nominations are now open. If you move to the next slide, there's a QR code. We shared this at FSA too, but this is how to submit a nomination. The deadline to nominate a colleague is May 29th. So really take the time. I know everybody's so busy, but help recognize those who make MCC exceptional. And that's all I have today. Thank you.
All right, I have opened chat. If anyone would like to post a question or comment, or you can raise your hand.
Very quiet group today. It's a lot of good information being shared, so thanks, Mary. Somebody has questions at the end, we can circle back, but I think we should jump to Pat.
Okay, good afternoon, all. Before we get into some of the projects, especially what we got on deck for the summer ahead, I just wanted to give a shout out and a thank you to everybody who's been working on the commencement with us this year. We've been meeting every Monday since January. We're in the final 2 weeks of this, heading into the home stretch. The numbers are really, really super strong this year. Thank you to everybody from enrollment services and beyond who've been helping to get those students across the goal line, because we're going to be up over 600 graduates walking across, and more than 1,000 that will have declared they're ready for graduation. But the largest commencement we've had since pre-COVID, which is also, as you would expect, creating its challenges for the auditorium. accommodated everybody in some way or another. So we do have a number of for helping, and they're doing a lot of work behind the scenes on their offshoot meetings. And I know that Phil's going to share some more information before the end of today's meeting with some other exciting news about commencement. But first, we just wanted to quickly update folks to let you know that 5 months on, 4 months on, whatever, we're still dealing with the repercussions of the leak that we had in Henderson Hall back in January. We do have the summer projects on tap. The classrooms 211 and 212 have been returned to us to be retrofitted again. So you see the photos there on the second floor. Those classrooms will be up and ready for the beginning of the fall semester. Our folks in-house are going to be doing all the work on this with the rugs. We're working with Promoter and everybody from the IT department. Those 2 classrooms are going to be converted into computer labs, taking them from first floor locations in Henderson and bringing them upstairs into that second floor. So 210, which is already open for classrooms, but 210, 211, and 212 will be back online for the fall. And for the 7 faculty and or staff who've been displaced from their offices, our intention still is to get those offices returned to you as well for the fall semester. We're trying to get these 2 computer labs first and then working our way across the hall. We've been meeting weekly since January, if not more than weekly, with all the contractors trying to get this work completed. As you would imagine, because of the implications of it and the cost, there's been a lot of wrangling behind the scenes with the different contractors and the subcontractors regarding whose insurance is covering this work. But we wanted to proceed ahead and get this work done so we can have the classrooms ready for September. Next slide, please. This is more photos within that same room. So Pramod and his team are working with Marie Toupé and Chris Algara to come up with a layout for that room that will make it the best use possible for it to have it as both of them as computer labs. Next slide, please. This is the second of those 2 classrooms. The ceilings were destroyed, the rugs and all of the chairs were destroyed. We took out most of the tables and salvaged which ones we could, and we are purchasing new furniture for the labs, the new labs themselves. Next slide, please. This is more. This is pictures taken within the last week of 211 and 212. Next slide, please. And then we're coming up to Lowell. We're gonna this summer is going to be insanely busy on the Lowell campus, specifically at the Cowan Center, with 2 major projects, both of which we're trying to get completed and wrapped up before the end of August. The one that you're looking at here is an upgrade to the front of the Cowan Center, which really dates back to a 2017 ADA audit we did on all of our buildings that talked about the accessibility of each of the properties, specifically looking at where we were falling short. And what we're doing, what you see on the right there is the designer's drawings of what the new entryway is going to look like for the Cowan Center, with a revolving door in the center and automatic doors on both the left and right. This is a project that we had wanted done last summer, but the contractors weren't able to get it done for us. And then when they were going to return, it was going to be the start of the semester, which we told them was unacceptable. And then the next time they were going to come back was in the dead of winter, which would have exposed the building to the elements. So we had postponed it to begin the Tuesday after commencement. So this is going to begin somewhere around May 26th. And we'll be continuing throughout the summer, with June being the heaviest impact on the front doorway entrance. Next slide, please. And at the same time, we're doing new roofs at the Cowan Center. What you're looking at here is from above, looking down onto the lower CAF. The first wave of insulation and such has been installed in that, but they're going to be coming back. Actually, they're on scene today doing some more surveying work. That work is going to begin. We're trying to also schedule that around events that are taking place in that in the lower CAF specifically, so there's no noise disruption. But that roof will be completed hopefully before the end of June. Next slide, please. And up above, you're looking at the new roof that's on top of Cowan, which I got to tell you, having been up there yesterday, is blinding with the new white surface roof to it. But the roof itself is complete. They're doing the final installs now on the lightning rods and some of the other sealants going along the edge of the building. But the top of Cowan roof has been completed. What is the big impact that's still to come this summer, though, which will be happening in June, is going to be installing a new air circulation unit up on top of the building, which is the heavy crane will be coming in after the first week of June. to install that. We have been working diligently with them to make sure they work around our schedule to have as little disruption to the building, especially when there's classrooms, especially if there's summer classes taking place. We're also going to be potentially working with the registrar's office if any have to be moved during the impact of highest construction during June. Where hopefully we're trying to get them to have all of that work completed before the 4th of July. That's at least on our schedule. And we had another meeting on it this morning that we're pressing the contractors to stick to our deadlines. Next slide, please. Switching sides to the other side of the house with Beth Noel and her team in Communications and Creative Services. As a request that's been asked by many folks within across the college, Beth and her team are going to be holding some drop-in hours beginning in June, as well as in person as in virtual. And it's really going to be a primer on how to request marketing materials, how to work social media or press releases or print materials into your programmatic request. And hopefully that, you'll be able to walk away with a toolkit to understand why things are done the way they're done and how we can help make it easier for you to get your messages out. She's also working on a email system for our external community messaging, which I know a lot of you have heard about the compliance that has to be taking place for this. Has to be doing mass communications. We want to make sure that we're not sending it to hundreds upon hundreds of email addresses and without giving them the opportunity to unsubscribe if they want to continue hearing from us, but also to make sure that all the materials that they're receiving are accessible. They'll also be creating accessibility how-to videos, which they'll be sharing through the professional development department to help make available so you can help your team members how to understand how best to make your materials compliant. Next slide, please. Just one more. Yep, we've got, so as everybody knows, you're going to be hearing about shortly, we've got a big event coming tomorrow night, but we are also working on some exciting billboard and radio marketing campaigns. And Beth was filling me in yesterday about some another exciting new opportunity with the version of the Lowell Spinners returning to Lowell in the Lasher Ballpark, and some opportunities that we have for some great advertising over there with that organization. It's a great bang for the buck. It's a high visibility location for us over at the park. But they're back playing ball there again this year. Middlesex is happy to be a partner with them. And as many of you may have seen via other emails that have been circulated, we've been getting some national attention for the great work being done. Some of these have been featured in Community College Journal, but the president and Beth have been working on a very exciting marketing campaign. You're going to be hearing more about Empowered, which is a national campaign hosted by movie star Meg Ryan. But you'll be seeing some other announcements about that. The press release have started to trickle out. A lot of the videos are being compiled to support the backdrop of that, but it's going to be with us for quite some time to come, and it will really help get Middlesex some more exposure on the national stage. Next slide, please. I think that should do it for the and I just try to circle back to answer the questions. One of the questions that was posed to Allie. The facilities team has been trying to clear out those water bottles wherever possible to get those, ship those back to Poland Springs. If there is a specific area that they maybe are not aware of and inattentive to, just make sure you fill out a school dude just to let them know that there's still a gathering of those jugs, get them cleared out for them.
All right, the chat is open. And I have my first question for you, Pat. Wondering if the women's bathrooms in Henderson will be open on the first and second floors. We only have the third floor women's room for the building.
Yes, they will be. Those are being worked on even as we speak. I don't know that they'll be open before the end of the semester, but it is imminent. What they've done is they've brought in a lot of environmental companies to make sure that there's no surprises behind the walls. They've been doing regular, almost daily testing of those areas. But the plumbing itself, everything is still working. They just didn't have the roofs restored, and they had ripped out some of the walls in there as well as the stairwell closest to North Academic. So we're trying to make sure that, while they're functional, we want to make sure they're presentable before we allow people back into them. But those should be happening very quick, probably before any of the classroom offices have been restored.
Will the temperature in the Cowan Center this summer be better regulated?
I'd like to say to be better regulated. It's been a daily concern for all of us, including, yesterday we keep seeing these spikes up and down. We had, 35-degree temperatures on Sunday, and then we've got temperatures in the low 70s today. They are trying to be regulate them as best they can. Dan Graham and Angel Santine are able to monitor these things remotely. We just ask, if somebody had an issue. I know we had a faculty member address something yesterday. We try to address them as quickly as possible. They do turn the systems on before anybody even reports to campus, but in a building that size, sometimes it takes hours to get the temperatures up to where we want them. We're hoping that the new air handling system that's going to be installed in June will be helping to address some of these issues, but we are painfully aware of them because for whatever reason, March, April, and so far into May have not been consistent with the flows of the weather temperatures here.
All right, I do not have any additional chats popping up, and I do not see any hands.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Pat. And I think this is Pramod next.
Yeah, that's me. Good afternoon, everyone. So before I give you update on the list here, I want to mention that these are not the only thing that IT is working on. There's a lot of happening behind the scenes, from implementing many different applications for other departments, and as you have heard from other PLC members, their banner updates or implementation, different applications being implemented, banner upgrades, systems and network updates, maintenance, help desk support, cybersecurity monitoring, implementing safeguards for cybersecurity. So IT is pretty busy, but I have these few things that I want to talk about because the next few months, that's what we will be kind of working on, and our focus would be. These are the 6 items that I want to give you guys an update. Can I have the next slide, please? So first one is, good news. Finally, we have our new password reset tool. I know it took a little longer, but we wanted to make sure that we test it out in every scenario possible. So we did extensive testing. So we will be implementing it soon, and it would be pretty good from the user point of view and from the security point of view. So you could use this anywhere, anytime, from any device. It's more secure than the current one. The current one was built by somebody in IT, and and it's been really working well. We never had any issue. And new one will also have multi-factor authentication because the current one, it's not as secure as the one that we will be implementing. So the plan is that we will have both links out there. So that way, if the new one doesn't work for someone, at least you can use the old one to reset your password. Once we know for sure that it's working, we iron out every issues, then we will remove the old one. Next slide, please. Next thing is the new MCC mobile app. I don't know how many of you use that. So one thing is that the new one has a lot of features, but initially we won't be able to use them because one is that vendor didn't give us advance notice of moving from current application to the new environment. We only had few months, so we had to work with them to make sure the new mobile app is up and running before they stop the old one. But it does have some good feature. One of the features I can mention is the campus groups, or people can use it for like clubs and stuff. The bigger reason for this, they are shutting down the current one, is the ADA compliance as well. another feature, the good feature, if you are not using it, because you have to use the mobile phone, you should, I mean, this new application you can use from a computer. Open a browser, go to the link, and now it is your mobile app. So it gives you much flexibility how you use it. Next slide, please. Classroom technology, we have completed majority of the projectors in the classrooms or sound bars or anything that is needed to improve the teaching in the classroom, teaching and learning. We removed any, projector that were like old or weren't high definition projections. We removed those. We replaced the cables and all that stuff. So Bedford is all set. Now we are working in Lowell, and mostly there are only one building that is left, that is Collins Center, that has about 12 projectors that we identify that needs to be replaced. There are 10 in Talbot classroom, and also the federal building, Derby, also been done as well. So goal is to finish this project by July 1st. But if there's any room that you find that we might have missed, please let us know and we can put that on the list as well. Next slide, please. Other project we are gonna start is data classification for our data that is used by students, faculty, staff, everybody. Right now, I mean, we do have access control there, but we haven't identified which data fall under which category. So that would be the project, and we will have this outside vendor help us with that. And then based on that, we will make some changes, how to access all these data based on the category. Right, next slide, please. Another project that we have started is kind of phase one, Copilot and Teams implementation. And again, it is like data classification, but from the cybersecurity point of view for the Copilot and Teams, because we are so integrated with Office 365. Before we implement any of these tools, we want to make sure that safeguards from the security point of view are in place before we kind of implement this college-wide or campus-wide. So right now we do have some pilot users, but they are in controlled environment to just test the AI features and all that stuff. But this project is mostly looking at how we can prevent any exposure to the student or HR or financial data, make sure the permission that is applied is the correct permissions. People are, when they are asking AI about something, they are not, the AI is not pulling the data from the data that is, shouldn't be pulled for sensitive information or private information or privacy and all that. And also we want to make sure, because it's not cheap, so we want to make sure that when we implement it, we get our money, kind of money worth it. Because they're pretty expensive, and we want to make sure that we can take advantage based on how we want to use it and what it will kind of help us in what areas. Next slide, please. This one is obviously it's not the small project, it's the kind of year-long project, or could go longer, but I wanted to mention it here because we already started working on it because it will take longer time. So right now we are looking at if we need to replace what we have, like different vendor or different company that we want to go with. So we are kind of collecting the information, and once we identify the product, we identify the vendor, that's when we're gonna start upgrading the hardware across the campus for wireless and network. But I will keep you guys updated as we get more information about it. And there are two things I forgot to mention earlier. We also started looking at printing and printers campus-wide, how we can make that printing more flexible and easy for people to use and print wherever they want, how they want to print. So we are looking at a product that would help us. Again, it's in initial phases. And once I have more update, I'll share that with you. And another one is that I don't know how many of you know about that we also have a server room for our cybersecurity program. So in the summer, we will be upgrading the infrastructure for that area as well. Next slide, please. I think this is the last one. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, please throw it at me.
When is the new mobile app rolling out, and how can we track students and connect it with check-in for Engage events?
Yeah, so I think we should have it up and running by second week of June. And we have to check. I'm not sure about it. Like, again, it has a lot of feature that we are not aware of how they would work. So right now, this phase is to just migrate from current application or current infrastructure of the vendor to the new one. And after that, we will kind of work with the departments to find out, okay, what feature we can use and how we can use it. Do we have another application that we are using? So duplication and all that stuff, we will check it out.
On the mobile app, will we need to request access again to post on behalf of our departments?
Again, I don't know how we are using the current one. So if it is used similar way, then answer is yes.
And is the new mobile app still using the campus cloud?
Yes.
Any other questions for Pramod?
Beth, I just want to take a moment to thank Pramod and his staff for they very boldly put out an assessment of the IT department and their services to get feedback. We've been having a lot of conversations about how we get as prepared as possible for the future of IT here at Middlesex Community College, and really appreciate that. We'll be working with an outside vendor to do a full assessment as well. And I appreciate Pramod and his staff in all the work that they're doing to try and be as responsive and be the best IT department they can. So just wanted to throw that out there, and thank you for completing that survey and giving Pramod and the IT staff great feedback. So thank you all.
Thank you, Phil.
I think this should be Maria.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. The first slide is really going to show you some of the Strategic Leadership Council themes that have come up throughout the work that Phil was explaining at the beginning, and the post-traditional learner focus that we have been having with the community vibrancy framework. So during the outline meeting times that you see at the bottom of the screen, it shows you kind of the themes that these groups have been working on. The way those meetings have been structured is the teams report out on action steps taken since the last meeting. They also report out on the action steps to be taken before the next SLC meeting, and also report on the RISE metrics that are impacted by the initiatives that they're working on. Each team is also meeting separately outside the monthly report out. And I wanted to show you just the themes. Thankfully, we got to work a lot during the fall 2025 Professional Development Day. If you recall, everyone was involved in the feedback that we collected. And so as we have continued to narrow the theme to ensure some action areas and core themes are aligned with community vibrancy framework and with the actionable strategic doing approach that we have embraced here at the college for a number of years, these have been the 5 thematic themes that have surged, that have evolved throughout that time. So the first one is expanding hours and accessibility and access rather, and really that talks about not only extending the evening and weekend services and offices or hours, but also what does online and hybrid modalities may look like, looking at the programs and the supports that are available after 5 p.m. on campus. The childcare and family support is really going to be working on campus childcare, Child Watch programs, wraparound services targeting parenting students. Then the credit for prior learning is looking at expanded credit for prior learning policies, including military credit, flexible placement, and fresh start revision, some prerequisites. Then the program relevance and employer alignment will be looking into potentially auditing some programs, developing employer-driven programs or short-term ones, the AI literacy, career readiness competencies, and finally, the student experience and onboarding is looking into adult-specific orientation, specialized advising teams, and clearer pathways, as well as removing some billing holds and marketing to adult populations, since we're focusing this on post-traditional learner or students. Next slide, please. Thank you. For affinity groups, I just wanted to report that, for this current academic year, every one of the existing affinity groups has met anywhere between 2 and 8 times. Every group has different availability. And so really wanted to reiterate here that if you have any interest in creating a new affinity space that you're interested in, that you have some kind of either affinity or interest in leading or participating in for any specific reason, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to coordinate with you and make sure that we can support you in any way that we can. Next slide, please. For professional development, I want to provide some updates. So for the current academic year, the PD mini grant process that we worked on closely with the advisory board was able to give out 13 mini grants of up to $2,000 each. I also wanted to highlight the collaboration that took place between Joanne, Destiny, as well as Angela from the President's Office and Jake in Human Resources for the Administrative Assistant Appreciation Day that took place a couple of weeks ago. We're thankful for all of the work, and we want to also express once more our big appreciation for all the administrative assistants and the support they provide all year round. I also want to highlight some of the funding that we issued out of the professional development. We served about 125 employees. There were a lot more transactions because, of course, many people don't access the full amount for one of the requests, and they can come back and access up to the $1,000 for the academic year. So transaction-wise, that number was closer to 200, but I wanted to highlight the different employees that we served from different employee groups or different unions. Now for the new faculty academy, next slide, please. Here's a list of all of the new faculty that participated in the New Faculty Academy. Big congratulations to all of them. The picture that you see here is from the closing celebration that took place last week. It was attended by all the deans, some of the PLC members, as well as some colleagues and department chairs from the academic affairs side of the house. This was a very rich experience. We got to hear last week about their big takeaways from the entire year, and it's clear that they were able to not only learn about what we do here and how we do it at Middlesex, but it was truly a community of practice where they provided a mid-year reflection. For example, at the end of the fall, in the spring semester, we did a community healing circle. But there was a lot more. This is a brief update, so I won't get into all of it, but just to highlight a few things. They went through the Inclusive Teaching Certificate, which consists of 4 separate courses through ACUE. They also attended their bi-weekly meetings that gives them a lot of tools, really touching on every department in the college, including but not limited to FSA, SOTL, TRIO, academic advising, student support services, academic technology, the academic advising practices, and as I mentioned, the closing celebration from last week, which is this picture. Next slide, please. Some updates for the upcoming fall. We are increasing or revising the existing limit for PD funding up to $1,200. The same type of expenses will continue to be covered, but any other updates that we may have regarding MERS as it relates to the update that Ali just provided earlier in this presentation will be communicated accordingly if it changes any current practice. So you will see this information reflected when we update the professional development website. We also are looking into doing that. What you will see, it's a more streamlined website, which would basically simplified menu options where you can easily find the link for the detailed policy and the procedures, and then another one on how to apply, depending on what you're looking to request. So that will be finalized throughout at the end of the summer. And we're also going to have a PD hub on Blackboard. So that will give you a lot of access to more information with resources, links to professional development opportunities. For fall of 2026, the Professional Development Day will take place on Friday, October the 23rd. Please save the date. And you should have received an email earlier today letting you know that the theme for the upcoming PD Day is supporting student success through collaborations across academic affairs and student affairs. This is very important because we are hiring 2 vice presidents that are starting in just a couple of months. And this will allow us to highlight the work that's already going on, really recognizing that our students thrive in that environment where everyone at the college is aligned, connected, and working toward those shared goals. So I encourage you to please look in detail at that email that came out of the Office of Strategic Priorities today so that you can submit a proposal if you're interested in doing so. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to email Joanne. Next slide, please. Thank you. For the Center for Truth, Community Healing, and Transformation, we do have an upcoming virtual institute from June 16th through the 18th. If you are someone who has been involved with the Center for Truth, Community Healing, and Transformation or facilitating healing circles in the past and you're interested in being part of these, please let me know. Full transparency, I'm providing the times that the Institute will take place in those days. It is fully virtual, so no need to be in person. In fact, we kind of need to be on Zoom to ensure the delivery because it's done with a number of centers from throughout the country. So it's usually a couple hundred people that attend, give or take. I also wanted to provide a quick highlight of how many healing circles we offered this past academic year. We've changed that approach over the last few years as to either pairing with things that are already going on campus or having standing ones. And so for this year, and it also includes community members that are served through the healing circles. And that number for this year was close to a little over 70 people served. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, any questions? No questions?
Okay. I don't see any questions, Maria. Thank you so much for that.
Oh,
for all your
sorry,
work.
there's one question. I
Okey-dokey.
apologize.
No problem.
Will students have access to the professional development site?
So the professional development site is the professional development at the college. We serve employees. If the person who's asking is asking as far as whether it's the website itself is open, it won't be because people will be able to access it through the portal. So it's only for employees.
I do not see any other chats and I see no hands.
Thanks, Maria. We'll turn it over to Judy to bring it home, and then I have one final slide and we'll be done.
Okay, everybody, in whitewater rafting terms, I am the sweep. All right. First, we're going to talk about institutional advancement, 4 separate departments: corporate education and training, the Adult Learning Center, college advancement, and community education and training. First up is corporate education and training. Next slide. This is a busy slide and I apologize, but this is the summer workforce training programs that are happening in corporate education and training under Lisa Tuzlo and Katie Gentili. First for community teamwork, our own Dan Martin and Pat Cook are doing, and their teams are doing some train the trainer and Alice training for CTI, which is a long running customer and community service partner here. And they're going to be doing that over the summer. We're working with Lowell Public Schools on Parapro exam prep and MTEL courses. Again, we're starting around now and going through June and July. As a follow-on to the PAC program, we have Holistic 4 happening from the end of May through July. And we have an electronics training program with NAMC. It's a 173-hour training program. It's going to happen in Bedford. We're recruiting for that program, so if you know anyone that may be interested, please reach out to Lisa and Katie on that. Next slide. More information about grants. We have the Pathmaker. You've heard about the robotics program, a very popular program with an employer partner in Split. We have a Pathmaker program that has already started that's going through June. We have another 3 cohorts that's going to be happening, follow on to that in the fall. We have an ESOL program happening at Boston Centerless. And then exciting news about the HVAC program that's in collaboration with our engineering department and the STEM department, Marie and Chris and Angel. Very excited about that $1.2 million, and that's going to be happening. The first cohort will happen next summer, but we're going to be working with everyone on campus, Allie and Pat and the whole gang to get that space built out. Next slide. We're awaiting funding. These are proposals that have gone in. One for Mass Life Sciences, $500K to increase the capacity in the robotics lab. It'll take the lab from what is now 15 students to 18 students. So hopefully in June we'll get good news on that. Pathmaker Tech Program, again, $2.2 million to help us to add more robotics training for our potential unemployed and underemployed students. And then Metallica, the rock band, we've applied for our 5th round of funding to the All Within My Hands program, and it's going to $15,000 is going to go to train 7 students, MCC students, in soldering and electronics. Again, a really great collaboration with our engineering partners. And then Achieving the Dream, the ATD program, we collaborated with OSL to work on a proposal with Daniel and Lisa Giussette and Christy around expanding the resources, the employer resources of OSL to help our students. And we're partnering with the Burlington Chamber of Commerce. So keep your fingers, we're going to hear about that by the end of May. Next slide. Again, just some information. We have contract training that's going to be going on in the town of Acton and the town of Burlington. And then we have a workforce training fund proposal with Avid Electronics, a longstanding customer of ours. Next slide. I'm going to talk about the Adult Learning Center and Kathy Innes, who unfortunately is on the retirement list. Fortunate for her, unfortunate for us. We're going to miss her. Next slide. The registration for the fall classes at the ALC is going to begin mid-July. The ALC classes will start on September 8th. Registration for LINCS is ongoing, and the LINCS classes will start on September 8th. Next slide. The work of the College Advancement Department. Next slide. First up is our big event that's happening tomorrow night. Happy Days Are Here Again, featuring Henry Winkler, Anson Williams, and Don Most. Fonzie, Potsy, and Ralph Mouth are coming to the Lowell Memorial Auditorium. We have about 170 people that'll be on the floor. And then the capacity at the LMA is about 1,500 seats. We're not near there, but we'll have a really good audience, really wonderful fundraising program for our students. And I think their message is going to be incredible. So if anybody has any interest in coming, please, there are tickets available. We'd love to see you there. It'd be great. And Phil is going to actually be the interviewer, which he has already proven to be a tremendous interviewer to our former guests. And I think this is going to be a really fun night for Middlesex and a great night for them. I have been talking to their handler pretty much all day, and they're very excited too. So should be a good time. And then on May 13th, we have a second annual grad party for new graduates. We had our first one last year. It was a heck of a lot of fun. If anybody would like to go, please talk to Barbara Maglio or Sherry McCormick because they run quite a great show there. Tuesday, June 16th, our alumni night at the Lowell Spinners. Patrick mentioned that. It's going to be a fun night for us. So again, Sherry or Barbara on that one. And then on Tuesday, September 15th, we're going to honor, as a part of our innovation campaign, Mary Lucy Bladen for all her years of service to the biotech program. And on November 5th, we're going to have our scholarship ceremony. If folks haven't been to that, it's really it's a great event. So looking forward to that. Next slide. Community education and training is up next. And perfect. Under Audrey Nahabedian's leadership, community education and training website, you can see the courses are updated. Registration is open for spring, summer, and fall, which is great in the programs, business, career, health, education, STEM, personal enrichment, youth. And the corporate education and training catalog this summer was released in April, and the fall is due to be released in July with the help of our marketing and creative services team. For those of you that don't know, there are waivers through Human Resources for certain programs. So if you have an interest in taking any of the courses that are outlined in the catalog, please give Audrey or Caitlin or Ellen a call on that. Next slide. These are some of the workforce development grants that are actually happening in community ed. The first bit is around healthcare, and it's under Caitlin Campopiano. The ETF grant, Education and Training Fund, Healthcare Light, centered around nursing assistant programming, work done through May through June. Caitlin has done a great job of diversifying the pediatric skills certificate, medical, surgical, acute care certificates for nurse assistance training. You could the past sections: nurse assistant training, farm tech certificate, phlebotomy certificate, local anesthesia, dental office administration, all, pretty much anything you can imagine in non-credit healthcare, Caitlin has already thought of. And then the Donnelly Grant, otherwise known as the Workforce Competitiveness Trust Fund Grant. We started in January 2026. It focused on nursing assistant, and then we completed 2 cohorts. 1 cohort is currently in session, and 3 cohorts will begin in September. Next slide. And then the TRAIN grant, another grant that has been around for quite a while and really served Middlesex well, around phlebotomy, farm tech, both in the spring. The great work of the International Institute of New England. Caitlin's made a great connection with that group around nursing assistant and home health aide. And then Lowell General Hospital has come to us looking for pre-acute care and acute care nursing assistants. And that training hopefully is going to happen in June 2026. And then next slide, our Ellen Wright, who puts together the youth programming, the College for Kids. If anyone has children and would like to send their kids to, have an academically oriented camp experience in the summer, this is really the place to come. Ellen does a top-notch job. Registration is now open. There are 27 camps, half-day, full-day options. I think you'll really, find them to be, your children will really enjoy them. Or if you know folks that are looking for that sort of thing, please direct them to Ellen. They're taught by K through 12 and community college instructors. So I think you'll really be pleased with that. But some of the camps are listed there. They involve STEM, veterinary science, physical fitness, art and music, cooking. They make cupcakes. It's great. And then College for Teens, which is an area we branched out to a little while ago. In June, they're gonna do a public service exploration program, and that's going to be offered in Lowell. And that's it for us. Questions?
Nicely done, Judy.
I won the last slot because I had too many slides.
Rapid fire. Yeah, you won the last slide because you had too many slides. So
That's
you never
right.
have too many slides. There's a lot of great information.
Yeah.
Folks, I just want to call up one last slide and make a comment because it's already 4:01. And thank you for your patience and your interest. This was intended to give you a lot of information on what's going to be happening. As you all know, that even though faculty leave us for the summer, although many of them be teaching, it is a very busy time for us at the institution. I just want to talk about the fact that we have one new development that will be happening at the institution is that our commencement, we are thrilled that we will have, and we just found out this morning around 8 o'clock, the Lieutenant Governor will be joining us because of the work that's been happening at Middlesex. We're excited to have Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll with us. She will be addressing the commencement crowd and attending our commencement, and we're very excited to have someone from the executive office in the state of Massachusetts recognize the great work that's happening at the institution. So makes the day even more special for our graduates. So wanted to make sure that you knew that. This reminds you of all the things that are coming up to really celebrate our graduates. Lastly, I want to thank my team that did an amazing job of presenting today. There's a lot going on at Middlesex, as you would well imagine. And I also want to thank Beth for facilitating this conversation. If you have any follow-up questions for any of us, please don't feel, please feel free to reach out and ask us, send us an email, whatever. We'll be happy to answer any questions, and we'll be communicating with you over the course of the summer through critical conversations that are more focused on NUPS and professional staff, but it's a great way for us to stay connected. So again, thank you for your time today. You've been really patient audience over the course of 2 hours. We hope you've gotten good information about what's going to be happening at the college. And again, thank you for all that we do, and we'll see you very soon. Have a great night.